Hi guys, hope you're all doing well and welcome back to our series of Microsoft Intune. And in this video, I'm going to talk about the onboarding process of Microsoft Intune, which includes the setup, license requirement, and what are the different roles required for Microsoft Intune. Now, if you're watching this series from the beginning, in the last video, we have discussed about what is Microsoft Intune, and the agenda of this video will be knowing the license requirement, how to enable Microsoft Intune, how to scope users for mobile application management known as MAM or mobile device management known as MDM, and which roles have by default the access to make changes to Intune components. So starting off from the very first point, which is the license requirement. So Intune can be bought separately, but if you have any of these SKUs available in your tenant, you can get them assigned to the users and you will be able to implement Microsoft Intune. It would be better if you are doing testing, try to do it with EMS E5 or M365 E5. You'll get better results. Now, there are two portals that you can use to customize the setting of Microsoft Intune. The first one is very common, which is portal.azure.com. We have been using this portal from a long period of time, but there is a new portal which has been recently introduced, and that is devicemanagement.microsoft.com, wherein you'll get the entire settings moreover related to endpoints and devices. Talking about the roles, global admin and Intune service admin. These are the two roles which have by default the access to manage everything related to Intune when it comes to MDM or MAM or in fact any of the policies that has to be created for the entire Intune console. Now let's talk about the process of onboarding Intune. So it's a very simple process. All you need is a global admin credential, and then you have to click on all services and search for Intune. As you can see, I'm getting three options. The first one is Intune and the other one is Intune App Protection. I'll be focused on these two options more. And then in the last section, or when we'll create the last videos of this particular series, then I'll talk about Intune for education as well. So the first option here, if I'll click on this, I'll be redirected to a page wherein I can manage the device enrollment policies, device compliance policies, or device configuration policies. So in a nutshell, if you'll click on Intune, you're actually getting redirected to the MDM part of the service which Intune has to offer. But if you'll click on Intune App Protection, you'll get redirected to a page wherein you will be managing the app protection policies. Now, before we move on in understanding anything which is moreover related to Intune, there is something which is very important and which I would like to let you know, guys, and that is MDM authority. As you can see, I'm getting an option over here which says MDM authority is set to Intune, or if I'll go back to the app protection section as well, I'll get this MDM authority as Microsoft Intune. Now, in order to understand what exactly the purpose of this MDM authority option is, let me switch to my deck and explain you why it is important for you to understand what is MDM authority. So initially, this option was actually customizable. That means you can choose whether you want Intune as MDM authority or you want configuration manager as MDM authority. In a nutshell, it actually means that which console you want to use to manage devices. If you select this option of Intune MDM Authority, then you have to use Intune Portal, that means this portal, to create policies when it comes to enrollment, compliance, or configuration, or even app protection policies. But if you select this option of SCCM console, then you can choose to create policy from your SCCM server itself. That means in that case, the MDM authority had the value of configuration manager MDM authority. This was something which was getting reflected on the portal, but now this option is not customizable. So if you are an old customer, then you might get this option to change, but if you are a new customer, you'll not get this option to be changed or to be customized. Let me show you a documentation and then it will make a lot more sense. So as you can see that this documentation says how to set the mobile device management authority for Intune, and as you can see here it is very clearly mentioned that onboarding of new hybrid MDM customers has been depreciated and it is no longer supported. So this means what? If you have a new tenant, you'll not get this option, but if you have an old tenant, you might get this option. This tenant that you see right now, it's a trial tenant that I have created 2 weeks ago. That's why I'm not getting this option to change MDM authority. Now, apart from this option of MDM authority sending up to configuration manager or managing settings from SCCM console, there is one more thing which is very important, and that is called Intune co-management. Now, as of now, just assume that there is one more configuration available called Intune Co-Management. I will be showcasing this in a different video altogether later on in this series. But there is something available specifically for Windows 10 devices. Now, the reason why I'm saying specifically for Windows 10 devices, because very soon Windows 7 devices support will also end. So as you can see, that Microsoft has already announced that the support for Windows 7 devices with Intune software client will be ended very soon. So by now we have already discussed about the onboarding process of Microsoft Intune and what is MDM authority. Now let's talk about the licenses part. So as I've said before that if you have any of the EMS SKU or Microsoft M365 SKU, the Microsoft Intune component will be included by default. So for this tenant, I have EMS E5, and as you can see, if I'll click on service plan detail, I'm getting Microsoft Intune as a available component. Now, once you have the licenses for Intune, the next step is to scope users. Now, what do I mean by scoping users? As we know that Microsoft Intune has two different capabilities to offer. The first one is Intune MDM, wherein I can define policies for devices, and the other one is Intune MAM, wherein I will be controlling the data inside an application. So this section is called MDM and this section is called MAM. Similarly, from the Intune console or from Azure AD itself, you can actually scope users for these two different components. And how you can do that? Click on Azure Active Directory and then click on Mobility MDM and MAM. And now click on Microsoft Intune and you'll get the scope for both the components. So the first step is to get the license. Second step is to get the user in scope, either for MDM or for MAM, depending upon the policies that you are creating. And the third step is the assignment of the policies that you have created. So let's say you have assigned license for some of the device policy, or you're making configuration for iOS devices, but for some user is those policies are not taking place or those policies are not getting applied to a particular device, then what you have to make sure that that particular user is in scope of MDM. And the same goes for MAM as well. So this was all about knowing how to onboard, what are the settings, what is MDM authority, how to scope users, and what are the different roles available in Intune. So quick summary, we have discussed about the entire license requirement. We have discussed about enabling Microsoft Intune. We have discussed about scoping users. We have discussed about roles in Intune. And in the next video, we are going to talk about custom roles in Intune. The reason why I'm covering this option is before we begin with MAM and MDM, you should know what exactly happens with the roles under the hood once you create them, how to scope them with different set of audience or with different set of users and devices. If you have learned something new, please feel free to subscribe. Thank you so much. Thanks for your time.